Good morning. This week's devotion is with just a touch. When starting something new, have you ever felt inadequate? I often do. I feel called to do something, and then when it comes time to start, I think, what have I done? I have a twinge of I have a twinge of that whenever I start a new call at a church or when my church starts a new program. So then I have to try to channel my inner Frodo. If you have seen or read The Fellowship of the Rings, in the Council of Elrond, they've decided that the One Ring must be destroyed. The ring is going to cause evil and hardship. It's going to set peoples and nations against each other. So the council members begin arguing. Well, I won't support it if you're the one carrying it. I'll never let an elf touch it. I'll die before I see it in the hands of the dwarf, etc., etc. And the argument is getting more and more heated. And poor little Frodo, the smallest member of the council, who feels completely inadequate and incapable, sees the evil that the ring is already causing among the council, and he quietly says, I'll take it. But by now the argument's so heated that no one can hear him. So he stands and yells, I'll take it. Well, the whole council is silenced and turns and stares at him dumbfounded. And he repeats more quietly, I'll take the ring to Mordor, though I do not know the way. The most amazing part of that scene for me is that once he commits, everyone stops arguing and comes beside him to hold him up and ensure that he succeeds. That's the one reason I try to channel Frodo when I feel inadequate. It reminds me that when God calls you to do something, you aren't in it alone. God sends people to help and work with you. In fact, at my installation service Sunday, we were reminded that I haven't been called to do all the work of the church by myself. I've been called to walk beside the church and work together with them. Thanks for that wisdom, Mark. One of the scriptures for this Sunday gives the most important reassurance. Listen to Isaiah 6, 1-8. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on the throne, high and lofty. The hem of his robe filled the temples, and the seraphs were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The pivots on the threshold shook at the voices of those who called, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me! I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphs flew to me, holding a live coal that had been taken from the altar with a pair of tongs. And the seraph touched my mouth and said, Now that this has touched your lips, your guilt has departed and your sin is blotted out. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here I am, send me. When we are called to a task or a new job or a church or anything we haven't done before, we can feel inadequate. But God can equip us to do what needs to be done. Last week, we talked about the Holy Spirit. Remember, Jesus promised the Holy Spirit would go with us always. The Holy Spirit will provide the gifts that we need. The Holy Spirit will send people alongside us to walk with us and help us along the way. So yes, I was nervous about starting a new call, but through the words of my friends and colleagues and my mom at the installation, I was reminded that we are in this together and God is here to guide us and help us. In the laying on of hands, I physically felt their presence and their support of me. Are you facing something new? Are you feeling inadequate? Remember that I'm here for you. I may not have a sword or a bow or an axe to help you in your journey, like in the Fellowship of the Rings. Well, actually, I do have them, but they're for decoration, and you definitely don't want me to use them. But I am here to come alongside you, to reassure you, to help where I can, to uphold you, to remind you that God is here and help you see your gifts. That's what it means to be the church. Like Isaiah, we may have unclean lips. We are all sinners. We may be inadequate. but God will give us what we need to answer the call. Have a blessed week.